Good morning, everybody. It's so nice to be with you here again. Thank you for having me back. I want to start with gratitude. I got to speak to a lot of you in the hall yesterday, over the course of the day, and it's just so good to be with you. And okay, I get one of those, and that's it. I just am really touched that you would support my work and be interested in my book, and I can't thank you enough just for your prayers and helping me out. Thank you, yes. So what do I want to say? I have about 30 minutes this morning to kind of step through my new book with you, which I'm really excited to do. I'm going to talk about the background of the book just a little bit, and then I'm going to tell a story from the book, elaborate on a story in the book just a little bit, and then take you through an experience, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. So that's where we're going. Maybe if I can get an image up on the screen, let's see how this goes. Yeah, so the book is At-One-Ment, and just looking at this book gives me shivers. My wife, who's a beautiful artist who designed this cover, she'd been sick for many months. And right when it came time to design the book, she just got her life back, her energy back, and she had this beautiful vision of an image that would go on the book. So love and gratitude to Gloria, who's really a visionary and a force. A lot of you know her. Yeah, I love you, baby. She's taking care of the little ones in Boston this morning, so I could be here, so thank you. Back in 2010, so I was working in Shanghai, China, and I had, I think, what many would consider to be a respectable semi-corporate job. And I just kind of had this feeling like I needed to quit and change my life. And at that very time, my sister Claire, who I love, who's here today, I can't see her behind these blinding lights, but my sister Claire called me and said, "Tommy, I'm getting married, I need you home like right away." And I came home and I got really interested in, the wedding was amazing, and it was crazy to be back in Salt Lake City after so many years gone, and I just felt like I needed to stay. And I quit my job and I stayed in Salt Lake City, and eventually I got an apartment and kind of ended up teaching meditation in my living room. I was this like hippie guy coming back from China, teaching meditation in my living room. And I know for a fact that my parents were freaked out about this. And they, but they're mature parents. They'd raised a lot of kids, and they'd somehow managed to raise me through the worst of the years. And so they were discreet about it too, but they're like, so what is your career plan exactly? Where's this going? And, in their defense, I was kind of freaked out too. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just had this intuition, like I was following this golden thread somewhere, and it was worth everything. And it's funny, actually, to this day, I'll get back from a workshop or a meditation retreat, and my mom will say, "So where have you been? What have you been doing?" And I'll tell her, and she'll, even today, will have this quizzical look like, "So they pay you to do that?" So I'm aware that it's an unconventional career path I've walked, and it's an unconventional spirituality I bring to our faith community. But this intuition of mine, I want to say that it's just paid off more than I could have imagined. My heart has been changed forever doing this work. And I've talked to people who've said that approaching spirituality through stillness, approaching spirituality through contemplation, approaching spirituality through the body has helped them stay close to the most important questions of faith in their life. This approach to spirituality has help them stay close to Christ, and that's priceless to me. It's worth everything. It might have been a bad financial decision in 2010 to quit my job in Shanghai, but it's amazing to be standing on stage with you today talking about my new book, At-One-Ment. I feel rich with God, and I feel rich with you in the community, so I'm very grateful. Thank you. I want to just tell a story. The book's big. The book, the subtitle is Embodying the Fullness of Human Divinity. It's a big topic, and it's a massively exciting exploration that we're all engaged in as embodied human beings. So I hope you'll be interested and check out the book. But in the meantime, there's a scene in the book, there's a story that's very meaningful to me. And I thought it would be fun to kind of describe how it came about and then to take you through an experience and just see how it feels. I was moving to Boston about 1.5 years ago, moving my family to the East Coast. And we sent the whole house in U-Haul cubes, but there were still a few things remaining. So I loaded up the car with, like pairs of boots and lamps and everything that couldn't quite fit in, and loaded up my dog, Luna, and we headed east. And before I left, my mom said, be sure to stop at winter quarters because your great-great-grandmother, Anne Elizabeth Ryder Young, was born in the back of a covered wagon there. You have to go see it. And I thought that was so cool. And eventually, Luna and I get to winter quarters about a 1.5-day drive in. And lots of details that I'll be sparing with. Read the book. I don't actually know how many of the details I share in the book either. But what I do remember is I get to winter quarters and I have a lovely guided tour by some missionaries. And then I get to the lookout over the grave where so many saints perished. They succumbed to exposure. They succumbed to illness in those horrendous circumstances. And I didn't have any expectation about what was going to happen. I just went there to feel it and to see it. And when I was looking out over the gravesite, I just had this overwhelming feeling like the ancestors were with me. And I felt their spirit, I felt their aliveness, and I felt their sorrow. I felt what they had lost in that place and what they had given to help me and my family be here. And the sorrow was just immense, and I was surprised right at the bottom of that sorrow, I felt this tremendous joy. Like I felt that the ancestors were overjoyed that I would have made pilgrimage to that site to feel their pain with them. I felt their joy that I would bear their burden with them for a moment, and that our connection that is forever was joy itself. So here I am at winter quarters feeling this immense joy and sorrow that I did not expect whatsoever. And then the really surprising part came. I felt this communication. Maybe it was from Anne Elizabeth Ryder Young herself. Maybe it was from the entire chorus of ancestors there. But what they said to me, what I felt, what I spiritually intuited, was that what we feel in our bodies matters. Like it mattered that day that I was willing to go somewhere and feel something. And it was as if they were saying to me, we don't have bodies in this moment in the same way that you do. So use it. As Rilke said, as I shared from Rilke's quote yesterday, live everything. And as the ancestors shared with me, feel everything. All of the joy, all of the sorrow. This is your divinity. This is your divine inheritance. And I was just floored by this, and I've never felt my body in the same way since. I think it's easy to get into a rut in human life where we're always trying to get a little bit more comfortable, trying to avoid discomfort. That's very normal. But at that day with the ancestors, I felt this encouragement, like everything you feel is sacred, especially when you consecrate it with your willingness to feel it. You have a body now. Don't squander this precious opportunity. That's the message I took that day. And that's what I want to share with you today. I want to just have an experience with you and invite you into some more embodiment. And people know me from meditation. They talk about me as the mindfulness guy. I don't love that word. I don't have to talk about mindfulness right now. But what I do want to do is disabuse you of some wrong ideas about meditation. People think meditating is about not thinking. People think if their mind is wandering while they're meditating, that they're a failure. I'm here to talk to you about a Latter-day Saint approach to embodiment. And what it means is we're going to spend just a little bit of time enjoying this divine gift of the body. And you feel sensations in the body, and these are our divine inheritance. And you have a thought in the mind, and rather than getting frustrated that your mind is thinking thoughts, you can remember who created thought. And thoughts are a form of divine embodiment. Everything we experience in human embodiment is for us to consecrate. that's what I want to share with you by way of experience for a few minutes, and then we'll see where we are after that. So I'm going to get my bells, and I'm going to settle into a chair, and I invite you to just take a moment to get comfortable and settle in. The invitation right now is to just fully be in your body. Feel the support of the ground beneath you. Feel the way you can just relax into your seat, relax into the ground. Allow yourself to just sit in a posture that lets you be fully awake and fully alive, but also at ease and relaxed. Feel the expansion and contraction of the torso, breathing in, breathing out, and just all the beautiful sensation that you feel when you breathe in and you breathe out. It's so simple, but it's holy. Feel the way when you breathe out that the body just naturally relaxes and softens. With every out-breath, there's this letting go. The muscles that help you breathe just kind of melt. The shoulders sink, the chest falls. Each breath is like a wave carrying you into a deeper and deeper state of rest. And notice in this moment that the body might not feel exactly how you'd prefer it to feel. In fact, it often doesn't. You might be working with pain in the body, discomfort. Maybe you're a little sleepy, didn't rest well last night, didn't get a good breakfast. Maybe you're working with chronic pain, maybe pain that's been with you for a long time, and there's something in you that just doesn't want to be here. It's difficult to inhabit the body because the body can be a painful place to be. So what would happen if you were to sanctify the experience in the body with the quality of your attention, just a willingness to receive this gift of embodiment in this moment? What might happen with that shift in attitude? And of course, it's not just our physical bodies that we inhabit, but at a more subtle level, we inhabit our feelings, our thoughts. If you'd like, you can bring attention down to the heart, the chest area, sensation in and around the heart. And just breathe as if you were taking in oxygen through the chest into the heart. Breathe through the heart. But just bring your attention here and see what that feels like. What does it feel like to be in your heart right now? Sometimes joyful, sometimes amazing, and sometimes painful and achy, devastating even. But I'd invite you to just try this out, to be embodied in the heart, through the heart. And something I love about this intelligent organ we call the heart, it has an intelligence that connects to everything. So as you rest and relax in the heart, you might sense a quality of connectivity beyond just your immediate physical surrounds. Relax in the heart and appreciate who you feel connected to in this moment when you just bring your attention in the heart. What beings are present? Maybe your children that you love, your siblings, your parents, your friends, or ancestors, or spirits, angels. You can just open up all of your heart, all of your awareness to let the fullness of this moment be fully here. And there's nowhere we feel this more exquisitely than through the heart. And once again, checking in. If you have ideas about what we're doing and this guy seems to be guiding a meditation, I want you to let go of that. Don't worry about meditating. Don't worry about failing at meditating. You're just embodied. You have this body for a brief moment, and you get to feel with it and live with it. And it's my sense that there are ancestors, there are angels, there are divine beings who feel joy in our embodiment. And want us to learn how to do everything in these bodies. Learn how to become more fully divine with these bodies. And finally, at the most basic, essential level, I want you to just notice for a moment in your experience of embodiment that you're awake. You're aware, you're experiencing this moment. And what is it that experiences this moment? I'm not asking that philosophically. I'm pointing to it in your direct experience. In Latter-day Saint theology, we call this light, truth, intelligence. Co-eternal with God. There's an intelligence that is you, that experiences experience. And this experience is for your good. Even when life is hard, especially when life is hard. This experience is for our good. And the essence, the divine essence of what we are, knows what to do. It knows how to use this experience. Notice you don't have to try to be aware. You don't have to try to be intelligent. You are intelligence. And you're growing and you're transforming just by virtue of what you are. And it is good. And it is supremely good. Thanks for doing that with me. That was my expression of what I felt at winter quarters. The immense joy and sorrow, the fullness of human divinity through my body. And I wanted to just experience that with you this morning. And to just deepen this a little bit, to play with it and to get a new perspective on it now. Like I did yesterday morning, I'd like you to just take a moment, if you're willing, if you want to participate, to just turn to somebody to your left, to your right, ahead, behind, to just connect with somebody. And I'll give you a little bit longer this morning. I want you to explore, think about a time in your life when you experienced something, you lived something in and through the body, as we experience everything in and through a body. And at that time, it was the last thing you wanted. You did not ask for this cup and you wanted it to pass. Nevertheless, you lived through that experience. And I want you to look at the other side of that experience, how you transformed and what you learned and what you would not be willing to trade, this wisdom and experience you gained from that trial, that tribulation. I want you to just take a moment to share with each other your embodied experience, something you lived through and how you changed. And I'll give you about 5 minutes to do that. Listen for the bells. Enjoy. Welcome back, everybody. I'm amazed. Usually when I facilitate a group of 20, it takes me a whole lot more effort to silence the room, and this is 3,000, so thank you. Just take that to be a sign of your deep respect for the presenter. So if we had more time, this is where I would just love to hear from everybody. Like, what have you lived? What have you embodied? What have you lived through, and how have you transformed? But I'm off the stage here in just a couple minutes, so I'll invite you to take these conversations into the hallway and into the rest of your lives, and to be generous with them, with each other, to use your stories to connect with each other and to uplift each other. All I want to say in closing is that that moment at winter quarters with my ancestors that touched me and changed my heart and changed the way that I think about divine embodiment, the fullness of our human divinity. It's not different than this moment. That moment there is no different than this moment. Every moment of embodiment is a moment of human divinity. And when we choose to have our experience to really live everything, as Rilke says, something changes. The body, instead of just being this like big bag of problems, it becomes this alchemical fire. It's this divine fire that metabolizes experience and creates more divinity out of it. I love our church, our tradition for this reason, this vision that this earth, in a sense, is fallen, yes, but in another sense, it's ascending. It's our embodiment, our willingness to be embodied, to feel everything, to live everything that ennobles the body, that ennobles matter, and lifts it up to God and becomes God. So I'm grateful to be a saint, albeit an unconventional one, and I'm grateful to be here presenting to you today. Please come see me in the hallway. I'll be signing books at the breaks, and I love you all. Thank you.